What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Welcome to another episode of Superhero Roundup live on SourceFedNERD. I am Matt Lieberman. Join me on the couch, Sam Basher.
Hi.
This boy.
And DJ Wooldred.
This boy.
That boy.
Yes. Oh, it's a big, big day for nerds everywhere because Daredevil Season 2 just dropped on Netflix.
Yay.
Oh, aren't we excited?
Everybody
So we got a lot to talk about this week. A bunch of our shows are off the air, but we still got lots to discuss. We're going to be talking about Supergirl, latest episode. We're going to be talking about the first episode of Daredevil. We'll do like a spoiler-free and then a more kind of like into it sort of review. And we're going to be discussing the new episode of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was very good. We're also going to be talking about the latest and greatest superhero movie and TV news that's fit to print, discussing it all, the three of us. And, of course, we're going to give you great details on our Daredevil Season 2 live stream event, which is tomorrow. It's a full day. So if you like doing this, if you like watching this or listening to this, and you want to hang out with us and watch Daredevil with us all freaking day,
and you
can.
do.
You really wanna.
If you really want to. It's really going to be a very fun day. We're going to be doing a stream on SourceFedNERD all day long. So it's going to be just like this. You click on the live stream, SourceFedNERD. It's going to be right there. We're going to be watching from episode 2 all the way to the end. So if you want to join in with us, watch episode 1 tonight. Or if you've already watched it, you're great. You're already great.
Yeah.
So we're going to be chatting with you in the chat. We're going to be live tweeting the thing. If you don't want to watch Daredevil tomorrow, mute us on Twitter.
Yes.
And there may even be special surprise giveaways, which we're going to give the details of tomorrow morning. So if you want to join us for the Daredevil live stream, we're going to be starting with episode 2 tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so if you're on the East Coast, it's 1 p.m. Everywhere else, Google it. It's really easy to figure that out.
And if you want to rewatch the first season with me, I'm starting at 10. No, I'm kidding.
No, absolutely not.
Just watch on DJ's channel.
But yeah, it's going to be a really fun day. We really hope that you join us. It's always more fun to watch these kinds of shows with friends. And you guys, you're our friends.
Yeah, and
we're best friends.
I suggest you guys try and get your own friends to join in on it. Create your own little
viewing
parties.
party that watches with our
join
viewing
it with
party.
Us, yeah.
Yeah. We'll have a great time. So before we go any further, if you haven't visited us on iTunes, go rate and review the show. It really helps us out. If you're not watching live, you should. It's live every Friday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sam, let's talk about some news.
Let's talk about some news. Guys, this week we got a second trailer for X-Men Apocalypse, and boy, is there a lot happening in this movie.
Lots going on.
A lot of powers happening all at the same time, a lot of destruction. It looks like an action movie.
Sure.
It looks visually cool.
Looks very expensive.
Very expensive. Days of Future Past made a lot of money.
I don't know about you guys. With the stuff we've been seeing this from a movie, I've been feeling very ambivalent. Even though the last 2 X-Men movies have been really good. In fact, like between First Class, Days of Future Past, Wolverine, the Wolverine, and Deadpool, the X-Men franchise has been doing in a really good place.
It's the strongest it's been since X2 Mutants United. X-Men United.
Yeah, but I've been feeling very ambivalent.
Yes.
And I think I figured out why with this trailer, because it's a lot of like arc phrases like the world is in danger.
They've never
we're fighting a god. Yeah. Let's go to war, as opposed to that person doesn't like us, like specific, relatable confrontations.
Yeah, and all the other movies, it's been like one-on-one. This
is
like
I hate you because you're different, or I disagree with you on how we should handle our situation. It's more character based as opposed to just big and kind of generic.
Because like even Days of Future Past was like a big idea with the time travel and the Sentinels and things, but they still went back and dealt with individual villains.
And it was still. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on Tyrion's name.
Trask.
Trask. I got my brain
Peter
stuck
Dinklage.
on Stryker. It was dealing with the ideas of racism there, and also the arc was very much. If you get down to the core of that movie, it's about can a person change. And I'm hoping that they do something like that, because that focus really helped that movie.
Well, Bryan Singer's X-Men movies have all been very allegory driven. It's always about discussing a social issue through the vehicle of mutants and that situation. I read something online that I had never really considered, but then I went back and watched some trailers, and I think it's true. very, very rarely do Bryan Singer's movies cut a good trailer, but they're almost all very, very good. So I see the concern that maybe there's no point being made in this movie like there are in his other movies, but I have to imagine that it's just been left in the movie versus being in these trailers. They're just trying to make the trailer look as big and crazy as possible.
And it does
look big and crazy. I will tell you the things that excited me. Nightcrawler versus Angel looked really cool.
And some weird like arena type thing.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but I was really bummed that they cut out Nightcrawler from Last Stand before I saw it. Because it's like Angel and Nightcrawler, there's a cool dynamic you can make there, not only because of their physical appearances being different, but their personalities. And the lines from X2 being repeated by the modern Magneto and Professor X actors. Like, aren't you afraid somebody's going to come to your school and take your children? And he's like... That was from X2, and
cool.
Really, yeah,
that's cool. I liked Psylocke and Angel jumping through that train thing. Whatever's happening in there. I don't know what in the world is happening in this movie, especially when they're in Cerebro and Havoc is shooting some kind of beam out.
It looks like the whole world is exploding 100% of the time in that movie.
Yes,
they're attempting an Avengers level event. With the X-Men.
I think that's the problem. Is like the X-Men. It's not about spectacle, it's about characters. Like, it's always been a character-driven franchise for me, and the reason why First Class works so well is the relationship between Magneto and Professor X, and you know, Days of Future Past works so well because of that relationship and Jennifer Lawrence's relationship with Magneto and with Professor X. It's a really complex relationship-driven narrative, and this one, the trailers are all about selling the threat of apocalypse, and he doesn't look scary enough for me to care about that.
They gave that origin thing with the goo flying up into
lots of techno goo.
Yeah, I don't. Again, it's not, for me. It's not about whether he looks scary or not. It's about that he doesn't seem like a very. It's the similar thing we're going to talk about it later with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with Hive. He's not a very like. He's a very broad threat. Like when Magneto's attacking them, that's Professor X's closest friend. Fighting them. Like, it's a very personal...
his closest friend who has a very good personal reason for why he has his prejudices and why he behaves the way he behaves. Apocalypse, we don't have that motivation as of yet.
Which is something I think when you deal with those big arc villains, they're dealing with it with Hive. It's something Marvel's probably going to have to jump with Thanos. It's something DC's going to have to deal with when they deal with Darkseid. You know, having them actually function as characters and just be like a vague... It's like when characters are trying to defeat a tornado. That's boring.
You could make it cool. You could make it cool, but it's very hard.
Yeah.
But
no shade thrown at Twister fans, I guess.
Austin DL in the chat wants to know, how does time work in this new trilogy? How are we in a new decade in each film and everybody looks the exact same? You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
I am excited about the idea of this apocalyptic scenario being set in the 80s.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot that can be done.
Well, that's because in the 80s, everyone felt like the apocalypse was coming because the Cold War flared back into like, you know, the worst it had been since the 60s.
Do you guys think
yes.
that after this trilogy is done, that Fox will cut a deal with Marvel the way Sony did with Spider-Man? No.
X-Force. We'll get an X-Force, and we'll get some other X
franchises. They're building an X-verse.
Do you think we'll get a new, now that we have Cyclops and Jean Grey, do you think we'll get a new, more traditional X-Men movie?
I think so.
Maybe. I think they want to try maybe some more, because they always try out new characters in every movie. They always keep like some staples, like Wolverine and whatnot, but they're not. They don't really grab as much as other characters.
They're going to grow this cast. Like, I feel like they've been building to this moment where they can now, we are calling them the X-Men. The X-Men exist, and because this is the 80s, the 90s were like the big X-Men heyday.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a ton of like 90s X-Men shit.
I really think X-Force should be set in the 90s.
It will
because
be.
That is the definitive. It's so 90s. Also, do you guys think they said that Havoc's relationship? They said back in First Class that Havoc's relationship with Cyclops would be different. Do you think in this universe, in this version, he'll be Cyclops' dad? I think he should be.
Oh, his dad?
Instead
I don't think he's old. He doesn't look old enough.
We just talked about. He was like early 20s in the 60s.
Yeah.
He's like 40 years old now.
True.
He's got to be technically, even though he's still played by Lucas Till.
Here's the thing. Obviously, he's
That's
older.
funny.
In the comics, he's the younger brother of Scott Summers.
Right.
Oops. But also in the comics, his dad is like a space pirate, and it's really weird. I'd much rather have Havoc
he'll
be his
probably
dad.
be his dad.
Yeah.
His dad, like,
and he's definitely going to die.
He got someone knocked up in the 60s, and then he went off to Vietnam and just was never a part of his life, and now he has to get used to that fact.
He was supposed to be killed off in Days of Future Past.
Yes, he was.
And Firefly Lady, but she might be dead too.
Oh, Wasp?
Wasp, there you go.
Wasp never even showed up in Days of Future Past.
No, she
you're
did.
talking about
Her
Angel?
wings did. Her
Angel
wing.
the cop?
Oh, Angel, yeah,
she
sorry.
She died in First Class, I thought.
Yeah, she died in First Class.
She did?
Who knows?
Maybe.
Also, another the things I think about seeing the poster they put out. You see Mystique and then Beast and then Nightcrawler. Do you think Nightcrawler will be Beast and Mystique's kid?
That'd be fun.
That would be great.
That is much better than in the comics, and the idea of Azazel being his dad, because that is creepy as.
Why?
Because he was so much older than her in that movie.
Yeah,
Oops.
she was supposed to be like 17, and he's old.
Yeah, that
She's
actor was
old.
like 50 or something at the time.
Jason Fleming. All right,
Moving on. We
yeah.
got a few more pieces of news we'll run through real quick. Flash Supergirl released some photos and promo teasers, and it looks real cool. They're teasing the race. They're teasing some Silver Banshee.
By the way, be careful when you look at those images on sites, because there might be some development spoilers, like stuff that I didn't see coming. That was like, oh really? Oh okay.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Like what?
With certain employees of the DEO.
Oh.
Yeah, people that are not currently a part of it, then now I guess are.
Got it.
Oh, Supergirl spoilers. All right. You guys excited for the crossover?
I'm very excited.
Hell yeah, especially after this episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited to talk about this episode. Also, you guys should maybe keep in mind, people watching at home, that when the crossover airs that Friday, right after Superhero Roundup, we're going to have another extra special one with maybe a special guest.
Yeah.
Maybe two, maybe three, maybe just one.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing it kind of like how we did when when Deadpool came out. We're going to be doing a regular Superhero Roundup stream, and then we're going to do a separate special episode just talking about this crossover, because it's like, look, we've had the Arrow and Flash crossovers, fine. But this is two superheroes.
Yeah.
Power superheroes.
And also two superheroes on different networks.
Yes.
While their shows are still ongoing.
Yes.
Really
It's
cool.
crazy. Between this happening and Batman v Superman and Civil War and Apocalypse, this year I think will be the year that superhero fans look back at the make or break year. Mm-hmm. If everything continues like it has been, this will be the pinnacle. Like, it never got better than this.
Yeah.
Or if Batman v Superman and Civil War bomb and aren't any good, this will be the year they're like, oh, that's when it started going
Well,
down.
no, but that's the thing, is like, this is the year where crossovers are no longer novelty, they are now the norm.
Yeah.
Like, every big superhero event is a crossover event, which means they're only going to become more and more interconnected, and everything is going to have to feel bigger than this. So either they're able to find a way to make that happen and audiences stay happy, or they're going to get real confused and pissed off, and they're going to start pulling away.
Oh, no. But also keep in mind, guys, what happens next week? Oh, Batman v Superman hits theaters.
Yes!
And we're going to do an extra special review with a guest. You guys might watch Comic Storian over on YouTube. Benny, he's coming on to the show.
Awesome.
We're going to be really excited. He's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you tune in at 3 p.m. next week for the Batman v Superman review. But next for news, Lobo is getting a script treatment from the guy who wrote Wonder Woman and everybody's favorite, Pan.
Excited.
Starring Hugh Jackman and
the little boy.
And the little boy and Tiger Lily. Remember her? No fans are mad about her.
Yeah.
Not one fan.
I could spend 10 years talking about that movie.
Please don't.
I won't. If you haven't seen the movie Pan,
Don't.
Well, no, I think that you should. If you care about like movies or storytelling, and you want to have an idea of why movies will one day go away and it will just be TV, that is the movie. That's the reason why.
If
It's
you want
everything
a movie
wrong
that breaks
with movies.
your soul, go watch Pan, apparently.
Yes, it is
Are
heartbreakingly
you guys,
bad.
getting that out of the way, are you guys interested in a Lobo movie?
I don't
No!
know. No, it's
No.
Space Deadpool.
It is exactly
Space Deadpool.
It is exactly what James Gunn said, which is that the studios are going to take all the wrong lessons from Deadpool's success, and it's literally like why Lobo and Deadpool exist, is they're polar opposites of each other. Which came first, Sam?
Oh no, Wolverine is supposed. No, Lobo's supposed to be an
Lobo-
answer to Wolverine.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lobo is supposed to be a parody of all the hardcore edgy heroes from the 80s or whatever. And like a lot of those parodies of hardcore edgy heroes, the people that like those hardcore edgy heroes didn't get that they were being made fun of.
Right.
And they're like, this is so cool. And it's like, no,
he's got a chain and a hook and a space motorcycle.
It could be fun. I think Lobo. I feel similarly about Lobo that I do Deadpool. I think they're better when they have somebody to bounce off of. I would rather see Lobo show up in something else. I would really like to see Lobo show up in Supergirl.
Yeah,
I think him interacting with that world would be hilarious and amazing.
Oh, it would be exactly. It would be the Superman animated series when Lobo would show up.
Yeah, it'd be. And they a couple episodes ago they
who voices him in that? Brad Garrett.
Brad Garrett.
Yeah, the Indigo episode. They no, which one? No, it was a couple episodes back. It was with Master Jailer. They made a reference to Lobo.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, they were like, oh, it must be a bounty hunter, and everybody gets really like serious. They're like, no, not him. If it was him, we'd know.
Yeah,
it's like,
yay, that's coming. No, I feel like Lobo as a character, man, I don't know. You could make a very entertaining movie out of Lobo. It's just not something that I'd rather see than something else.
They made a very entertaining Deadpool movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's entirely possible that they can make a great Lobo movie. It just wasn't even the 10th thing on my list.
No, it's not in my radar at all. There was Danny Trejo. He tweeted a picture of Lobo. Like, sure, he looks like Lobo.
No.
I mean, no, like not the new sexy one that they made for some reason.
No, like, but the old I don't know.
Wait, actually, here's the thing. Before the Shazam and Black Adam movie happens,
everyone's favorite,
cancel it. Cancel it right now. Dwayne Johnson should play Lobo.
He was attached to Lobo for a while. I think he's too likable to be
No,
Lobo.
but that's the point. He's so charming that he can pull off all that crap and we'll still love him.
Gross.
Yes.
And I'd want them to cast somebody that could go gross. I don't know.
Let us know if you want a Lobo movie in the comments section on Twitter. But lastly, for news, Batman the Killing Joke released this photo and confirmed the cast, meaning we got Mark Hamill for Joker, obviously.
And Kevin Conroy.
Thank you.
Which you already know. This week was a lot of news of like, like with Finn Jones. Like, listen, guys, Finn Jones is confirmed to be Iron Fist.
With Marvel, yeah.
Didn't we know?
Didn't we already know that? I thought he was confirmed. Yeah.
Marvel didn't say it.
Yeah.
Marvel gets say.
Yeah.
They have to say official on their website.
Yeah.
Then we're okay.
And they have to tease a picture that has the character's name on it.
There you go.
I don't know how I feel about the Killing Joke thing, because I guess is it confirmed that it's going to be R-rated?
Oh, yeah. It's R-rated. I mean, yeah, I get you. I mean, but they also had to expand the story because the Killing Joke comics
it's
not
real
that
short.
Long. It's supposed to take place in a day. That's it. That's
one.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
It's classic. Alan Moore.
Real spooky.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to be a naysayer. I'm sure it's going to be great. And people
Bruce
who
Timm,
love
all the people involved is probably going to be fantastic.
people who love the DC animated movies, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
That's it. I thought that their adaptation of Dark Knight Returns was great. It also didn't need to happen at all. It didn't make me enjoy the comic any more or less. It just is a thing, and that's what this will be.
Ooh, Gods and Monsters. That was really good.
Yeah, Gods and Monsters Chronicle, really cool, and that was an original piece. How about we stop it's exactly what's happening with movies, where it's like, instead of making anything original, let's just remake or adapt everything that people already know, that we already know that they will buy, instead of actually taking a chance and trying something. Which is Gods and Monsters Chronicles. They took a chance and they tried something, and it was really fucking cool.
Hey, and that was a chance with an R-rated, ultra-violent story, and it was really cool.
I just don't think there's just this notion that like ultra-violence makes things better or edgier or more adult, and I wish we'd get over that. That's not what makes something adult.
We just haven't had true.
Like I would argue a more adult,
like 17-year-old.
Yeah, like I would say something like a more adult movie that came out last year is like The Martian, because it had adult ideas and adult thoughts.
Yoni Mizrachi in the chat says Jason Momoa as Lobo would be awesome.
That would be great,
cool.
Actually.
Yeah.
Well,
and Ron Perlman for everything, for Swamp Thing, for Lobo,
sure.
For every role.
Let's take all the money that we were going to put into seeing these movies. Let's invest it in a cloning machine. Let's clone Ron Perlman. Let's get a young 20-year-old Ron Perlman, and let's just put him in all the stuff.
Ron Perlman.
I saw somebody talking about this in the comments, and I just looked it up. It looks like the word on the street is that Amber Heard is confirmed as Mira. Speaking of things that we already thought
we already knew. Great.
It has to be.
Someone, Oswaldo Fergoso actually just posted that in the chat.
Oh, there you go.
Just as you said it.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's amazing.
All right. We could talk. Gotham has a third season.
Gotham got a third season.
Gotham has a third season. That's it for news, guys.
Because the universe hates us.
Yeah. Can I say one thing?
Please, go for it.
So, look, gang.
Go ahead.
I've said a lot of very public, very angry, damning things about Gotham in the past. And I personally believe that in order to hate on something consistently, you need to watch it and know for sure that it is still that thing that you hate.
Yeah.
And that it didn't somehow get better.
Yeah. That feels needlessly masochistic, but all right.
Maybe it is.
I get where it's coming from.
It's like, do I know that this is poisonous? Better keep trying it to make sure that it's poisonous.
Season one was universally bad, stupid, and incredibly boring.
Yeah.
Season 2 of Gotham just aired what might be one of its dumbest episodes yet, and yet I loved it.
Is there a chance that Stockholm Syndrome has
It could be, but here's the thing. If you're looking for something that isn't boring, is announces straight out of the gate, it's fucking stupid. And not just that, it's fucking stupid and toying with things you actively care about. But you know that not only will you not be bored, you will be blown away by how stupid it is and its incredibly huge budget that it doesn't deserve. You should keep watching Gotham. I'm just saying, it's become appointment television for me for all the wrong reasons. I can't stop watching it. It's not good.
And that's the reason we're getting a third season.
But I kind of like it now.
Oh, God, you're that reason. All right, and moving on to Supergirl.
Yeah, let's talk about Supergirl.
Speaking of divisive shows, not this episode, though. This episode was really, really solid.
Gotham gave Lieberman brain damage.
Yeah,
Which
says Casey 379.
does not surprise me because I enjoy the show.
Yeah.
But even I was surprised by the show, by some of the decisions that it made.
Yeah, I really liked this episode a lot. As you guys might know, I just plowed through 10 seasons of Smallville. The worst episodes of those shows was when they deal with Red Kryptonite. It is such a boring plot. I mean, for me, I was just like, we get it. Everyone's an asshole deep down. This rock makes all Kryptonians just evil, asshole, whatever, supervillains. And I got bored with that. But with this, they did something. They didn't go regular CW, whatever, pushing only so far.
Yeah.
She went murdering her sister.
Yeah, she was right up to the edge at the end. And that's something I liked about it because you're right. At the beginning of the episodes, your typical Red Kryptonite. All right, she's dressing differently. She's acting kind of like a jerk. I get this, but it kept escalating to the point that she threw Cat Grant. That legit shocked me. I was like, what just happened? The episode kept doing things that you can't just walk back from.
Yep.
And it'll be to this great service of the show if it doesn't. Because there's 4 more episodes of the season. If this is the plot line for the next 4 episodes of her dealing with the fallout, because Cat Grant, she threw off the roof. She emotionally wrecked her sister by digging into some of the deep hard.
She forced Martian Manhunter to expose himself.
Oh, so cool!
I know.
It was really
Such a cool
They
scene.
fought through the building. That was really cool.
Yeah,
cool.
When he's like, it's superhero storytelling 101, but just the way when they're pushing in on him and he starts transforming, it's like,
there he goes. He's more invested in this show, so it means a lot. I just thought it was cool.
Well, because they've been dealing with the fact that he can't show himself and his kind of own desire.
Wait, why can't
he
show
Chris,
himself?
can you scroll back up? There was a good comment.
That's one of the weaker elements of the show because they don't really. It's kind of implied that white Martians are around and they'll kill him once he exposes them. When he exposes himself, they tune into it.
That's they
kind
of do that in comics.
And also more importantly, but it's vague to whether that was dealt with in the White Martian episode or if it's still an ongoing threat.
Yeah.
And the fact that once he exposes himself, like we saw in this episode, he can no longer lead the DO, and he feels like he's more effective doing that than running around being Martian Manhunter.
Right.
And so, not only do we seed in this episode, this is an episode that you could watch having never watched another episode of this show
of Supergirl and still really enjoy it.
Yeah, because at the beginning they establish the Kara we know who's caring and loving. She's with that little girl helping her out, and you're like, this is a person I like.
Yeah.
And then they establish that when she confronts Hank with you're not even willing to expose yourself. And so by the end, all this stuff comes to a head.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. Halfway through the episode, I'm like, they need to have a Martian Manhunter Supergirl fight, or none of this is worth it.
Yeah, no, it was one of the best episodes of the show, hands down. It might be their best episode.
I think there's a solid argument for that.
Yeah. So we got a couple of good comments here. This episode had a lot of loving references to Superman 3. Brandon Mannock
she grew stubble.
Love the reference to Superman 3 in the bar scene where she's flicking the peanuts at the bottles, which is great. But the other thing that
I haven't seen Superman 3 for obvious reasons. That was a reference to that?
Yeah, he does that in a bar.
Thank God, because that was a little like, why is she
it's a reference to Superman's just got a bottle of Johnny Walker Red and he's just doing shots and flicking peanuts and breaking bottles. But the other comment, for people who may have been confused, Vagrant Spectator 38 wants to know, I don't like how they made Red K synthetic though. Like what? Max Lord invented it?
That's not. No, that's it sometimes is the case.
Yeah, in Superman 3 it is synthetic. Yeah. It's it's
not. I don't think it's red kryptonite though. It's just synthetic kryptonite. Is it red?
They can make synthetic kryptonite. They can make synthetic.
But in Superman 3 specifically.
I don't remember. I think it was red, but I don't. That could be just my misremembering. But it had the same effects. Yeah. So it's the same thing.
Quick tweet from John Cole. Chris Key.
Oh, keep tweeting with the hashtag
by the way,
SH Roundup.
In the Silver Age, I'd have to double check this. I'm pretty sure all other colors of at least red kryptonite was synthetic originally.
Oh,
right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Did you enjoy this week's Supergirl? To me, it was the best episode yet. And Melissa Benoist was so great. She was probably the best part of this episode for me.
Yeah. She is
Chris,
regularly
scroll back up again.
The best part of the show. Followed closely by Cat Grant. The range of emotions and the ability to show the loving Kara, and as you see the progression, to sell that progression, and even because again, like a lot of usually where the red kryptonite stories or it's a common sci-fi trope, like their personality changes, they dress differently, but the way she carried herself
was completely different. Yeah,
and then even when she gets out of it. And she starts crying, and it was one of those like, dear, I know this is fake, but dear Lord, I feel so bad right now.
Also, I kind of get mad at these episodes because they're like, it's evil version of her, but it's actually like her. These things that they're doing people can't flip back from that. Yeah. And I know they're trying to make people they're trying to paint them as adults, mature. Normal people wouldn't be able to come back. If you threw me off a roof, just saying, I wouldn't talk to you. Yeah. If you, in a bar, were grabbing me like that and doing that to me like she was doing to Jimmy, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm not going to talk to you. I don't care.
Well, Jimmy, to his credit, did that.
He walked away. I actually thought her sister's reaction was pitch perfect. It was one of those that, like, I get what was happening, but some of the stuff you were saying were true, and we'll need to work on that.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. Things I didn't like, the fucking talk crossover thing at the beginning where Cat Grant's on that talk show.
Oh, on The Talk?
That was really weird.
It was still a little synergy. I didn't mind it.
I also, it helped set up the scene with Kara and the girl, and that was nice. The way they explained Red Kryptonite, like everybody showed up at the base all of a sudden to explain the plot, and then they moved on.
Yeah, that was clunky.
I feel like you could have reset that at the place where the fire was.
Yeah, wait, why Jimmy, was the fire there?
And why was it on a roof?
Why was the red
Didn't
cage
you guys
there?
hear how Max Lord sort of explained the labyrinthian plan
really
he had to take out Non?
That.
Why? But at the very least, you could have set that.
Right, there was a satellite on the friggin' roof.
Whatever it does, that was garbage. But the one thing that I think would have made that better is instead of having it at the base, having it be at the place where the DEO went to the place where the fire was, because we did our scan of the radiation and everybody's there. Because that would make more sense that Max Lord is there. Because how did he get in the base? Like, what the hell?
Real quick, I just need to address a comment I saw in the chat. Dom Cantu writes, my GF needs red kryptonite. She is so boring, LOL. Then you shouldn't be with her. If you think your girlfriend's boring, you shouldn't be writing about it on the internet.
Also, if you saw this version of Karen, you're like, I want that. You need to see somebody about that.
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys, but...
She's going to rip Jimmy apart.
They did such a good job of making Supergirl legitimately threatening.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was terrifying.
She's scary.
Yeah.
Also, as a point, someone in the chat said something about it, but Martian Manhunter. Yeah, okay. Winkles Delgado.
Oh, yeah.
Wilkins Delgado.
Wilkins.
Martian Manhunter phasing through Supergirl was really awesome.
Yeah.
How do they make Martian Manhunter look so good on this TV budget?
I don't know.
He looks better than some characters in, like, superhero movies.
Yeah.
He looks dope.
I don't understand.
He's also a hard one to make look cool.
Yeah, and they made him look
he's
cool.
a Martian.
I saw an image the other day. It is the actor who plays Hank Henshaw in the suit, and they CGI the face.
That's what it looked like from this episode more than any. Yeah,
it blows my mind because I just can't. Where does the money come from? Like, for
I don't
crying
know,
out loud.
man.
Secrets.
I don't know. They spend a lot of money on the
Because
show.
Matt, you saw the White Martian episode.
Yeah,
The
they
shots-
look great.
And when they cut to Mars in the past, I'm like,
Yeah.
what? How is this happening?
Here's the thing, DJ. Not only does this show make them a lot of money here and through like alternative revenue streams, but also through pre-sales around the world selling the show.
Well, thank goodness,
It's a
'cause
huge
it's
generator
amazing.
of revenue. And then on top of that, a lot of their series don't require CGI special effects. Like all of CW's shows require this kind.
Well, maybe Two Broke Girls,
right?
No.
You know,
Two Broke
well,
Girls.
but what I'm saying is like they can allocate more money to this show than other series, and they're also just incredibly successful as a network. They can spend it.
From Stephen Walker at T-Walker 500. Am I the only one who saw parallels between Astra and Kara in this episode because they did start to dress alike?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, she was wearing that uniform that all the Kryptonians wear.
Why
Which,
did
like,
she
where'd
put
she
that
get
on?
it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why'd she
Honestly,
make it?
that's the weakest plot line is the Kryptonian plot line. I'm hoping they deal with that this season.
And get rid of it.
I thought, did you see the Indigo episode?
Yeah.
I thought Indigo was a much more interesting
Far
threat.
more interesting.
But it's one of those like, wait, so you have an army of Kryptonians and you're like, we're going to hide because there's two people on the planet that can stop us.
And they're like full-powered Kryptonians, right? They're like, why would you hide?
I mean, to be fair, their leader did just get killed by a kryptonite sword. So
but it's
I
like now
guess-
you know that kryptonite swords exist, so
Yeah.
just be more careful.
You know, normally you can avoid
do
those.
some kryptonite sword training.
What'd you guys-
Eric's Reloaded says, where does the money come from? It's CBS, 9 to 14 million an episode.
Yeah, maybe.
That seems a little high.
Yeah, a little bit.
We'd have to double check the numbers, but if
Yeah.
that's the case. But
That's
I mean,
more people than
I
on the
assumed that
planet.
when we saw him transform, it's like, oh, good, this is the one time we'll see Martian Manhunter. And no, he's had full on fights with Astra, and now it's Kara. I'm really interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Apparently, the next episode is Martian Manhunter centered.
You get to learn what happened in the jungle with Dean Cain.
I am excited. I like that.
too.
Like, so how long have you been disguised as Hank Henshaw? Like, however long. Did you kill Hank Henshaw? Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Yeah. Well,
Find
I
out
also
next
love
week.
the conflict with the senator lady, who was starting to have feelings for him. Now he's a Martian, but she's gonna come back around. I can tell.
How could you not?
All right, guys. What are you going to rate this episode?
Honestly, 9.5 out of 10. Like the red kryptonite thing and the explanation was a little clunky, but other than that, it was an excellent episode of television.
True. I'm actually on the same page, 9.5. For all of the episodes of Supergirl, I've seen a handful. But yeah, I'd give it a 9.5, definitely.
I'd give it a 9.5 too.
Guys, let
Good
us know in the
job.
comments. It was a good episode. Good job, CBS.
Oh, and I'm also, they did a good job setting up, like, she legit screwed over Siobhan and seeing how that plays out as she
Figure out
goes
how
to
to say that
celebration.
name.
Yeah, right.
When you read that in the comics, you're like, oh. Yeah, Siobhan. Yeah.
All right, some people are giving 9s, 9.5,
Nice
10,
10.
8.5 out of 10. A lot of people loving it.
It was a good episode.
7.
Only 4 left, and I'm hoping that this creative trend heads on towards the Flash crossover.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm real excited. All right.
Which, by the way, I don't know if we talked about. Did we talk about that? Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
the
did.
poster last week that we talked about that it was confirmed that it's an alternate dimension.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
All right.
Earth 3.
Earth 3.
Or S.
You know.
that's Shazam in the comics, but whatever.
I think they're going to keep it in numbers, keep it real simple.
Yeah, I don't know why they did letters in the other one either, but whatever.
All right, you want to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Let's move on to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Inside Man.
Super good episode, super solid all the way
Yes.
through. My biggest complaint. Okay, I'll just say what I liked. I liked all the action this episode. I liked the spy thriller feel. I liked seeing the world trying to deal with Inhumans. I would like one little
the world
mention.
leaders?
The world
Yeah.
leaders, right? That makes
That's
sense.
cool.
Why wouldn't also they mention this in the movies? All you gotta do is say like you got hear a guy in the background on the phone. He's like Inhumans, and then like
Yeah.
what's that? And then
Yeah.
like they go back to Civil Warring, whatever
Yeah.
they're doing. I didn't like racist,
How great-
stupid Talbot.
Yeah.
How weird would it be in Civil War, though, if they're like New York, Washington, D.C., Zarkovia. Also, those half human, half alien hybrids are running on. Everybody in the Avengers like, whoa, what?
Hey, wait.
It's like, don't worry about that. Get mad at each other.
Should we deal with
Talbot.
that?
Yeah, Talbot.
Yeah, do you want us to
Talbot.
like talk about that?
Yeah, yeah,
Or no.
Cap, we're talking about something else.
No,
all
yeah.
right?
All right, fair enough.
Talbot is a long line of characters and TV shows that are somehow have gotten into a high place of authority and are also incredibly stupid.
And also in the long tradition of characters on TV shows that we never needed, but they keep bringing back.
You know what? I kind of didn't hate Talbot this episode. Him and Coulson, I kind of like. I don't know.
You kind of do.
Here's the thing. This episode set up a lot of stuff that I was like, I'm going to be so bored. And then as it went on, it was like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
Even these things you're not. Even Daisy Lincoln, you're like, you're not into this. Guess what? We're gonna have them actually doing something. Okay, it's them practicing fighting. You've seen this before, but it's fighting. Something, and you're like, all right, you know what? I can buy it. I can buy at least that these two would want to have sex with each other.
Yes,
if nothing else.
They had for the very first time chemistry that I believed for about 30 seconds.
I don't know if they.
That's all you need.
I don't know if one of them would sacrifice his life to join the other one,
right.
But they would definitely want to have sex with each other.
Two things. Really smart with putting his hand in a sling to make them all touch the robot hand, so they could do a scan of their hand and like make a fake hand. Really cool. Second, what the fuck? I just get my Absorbing Man.
He's back.
We found out why he didn't talk when he was in the first couple episodes.
He's back. I was talking to him. Hey guys.
All right. All right, Carl.
But he still looks cool.
Yeah.
Can we get him in Daredevil now? Now that he's
out
and about. Come on.
No. I said no.
Is he are we sure he's the same Creel that fought Matt Murdock? Because Talbot referred to him
that was his dad.
He referred to him as a kid.
Yeah, no.
I thought it was Crusher. Isn't the thing like Carl Crusher Creel?
No, they said when Daredevil came out that was his dad. Based on timeline.
That was his dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's his dad.
That's his dad.
I'd still like to see it. It'd still be cool to see Daredevil legit fight somebody with powers.
I know.
That
and
makes
we
sense
will
why
at
his
some
dad
point.
would die.
No. Yeah. Here's like my thoughts on the episode. Maybe it's just because it's been a long time since Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was on the air.
Yeah.
But it feels like forever since they had a real spy mission episode.
Yeah.
And this is ultimately a spy show, or was supposed to be. So it's just like, it was so nice to see them freaking spying.
That was so, where they each have to go. It was very video game logic. We each have to go in our different room and have to get the different information. And Hunter's been, these last two episodes, I've been really enjoying Hunter. He's a good breath of fresh air and everything. I like the spy aspect of this a lot, where they're trying to figure out the inside man. Oh, twist! It's the guy that we thought was on our side. Oh, shit.
That was like a nice twist. I was like, okay, he's playing a game.
Yeah,
he's playing a game. Oh no, he's not playing a game.
Yeah.
Oh, this is for real.
And I also like the they have my son, and he's like, "Did you really think?" No, I'm not an idiot. And then Absorbing Man comes in. The other thing that they sold me on that I wasn't too into was when Hive murders those people.
Oh yeah, and gets bathed in hot human goo.
It's a little skin goo,
a little muscle goo that gets you real ripped.
I don't know. It made me. It at least established him as a threat. He's still not an interesting character yet. But it helped to establish his threat, and it was a cool visual. Cool visuals help establish.
When he stepped out of the part of him that was frozen.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
By the eyes. That was fucking cool too.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that
skin
was?
thing where the skin thing's floating around him?
The skin thing's floating around him. Like whatever part of him that was frozen by the eyes, he just sloughed it off like a snake sloughs off its skin.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
Why?
But at least this. I don't know. I'm interested to see where that goes.
Ooh, Eon 001 says Creel and the Defenders. Seems like they're setting him up as a hero though.
No, I don't. He's not. They really seem to be pushing hard, but like he murdered a bunch of people when he first showed up.
Yeah, he's still murdered.
I mean, so does Punisher. You know,
but those were like
bad
one
guys.
of them was Xena. All right, you don't get to just murder Xena and suddenly you're a good guy now.
To be fair, he didn't like directly. He just laid down in front of her car.
It also seems like by the end of this episode, because we have Hunter and Mockingbird hidden in Malik's plane off on an adventure. It seems like this is the backdoor pilot for Marvel's Most Wanted.
This episode?
No,
or
not this episode. The next episode.
Okay.
Because they're going to be on their own separate adventure. They've set them up as being apart from everybody, not sure where they're going, operating only by themselves.
Is anybody really concerned about when that happens? Because Hunter and Bobby are consistently one of the best parts of the show.
I think they'll bring on some Inhumans to kind of balance
fill the void.
Yeah, but they are so good.
You'd have to have the same chemistry and fun actors that they are.
Yeah, I know. You really need. I'm sorry, Joey and Yo-Yo are not as interesting or fun as
But we got a tease of another Inhuman, Manifold. With,
Eden
Eden
Feisty. When she looks at the thing, there's the name Eden Feisty, who was one of the Secret Warriors and an Avenger. in Jonathan Hickman's Avengers.
Oh, cool.
I thought he was a mutant. I didn't know he was an Inhuman.
What is Manifold's
He might have been in the comics.
abilities?
Well, none of the... You guys got to remember, in Secret Warriors, none of them were Inhumans. Nobody gave a shit about the Inhumans when Secret Warriors was being published. They all had different... The sources of their powers were actually by... Their parents were...
Okay.
Like, Hellfire was the son of the original Old West Ghost Rider. And Yo-Yo was the daughter of Griffin.
Yeah.
The one I'd like to see is Phobos, the son of Ares.
That's cool.
Ooh,
Throw a few gods in there.
Yeah, why not?
Because they wanted to like throw Hercules in there. Or something. Oh, that was with Agent May, fake mask woman, like that Agent 33 or whatever. She was supposed to be an introduction to Hercules, and like she is in the comics, and bringing those in there. But then she just became an evil like henchman.
I'd like to see Hercules on this show. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be very confusing.
Real goofy.
I need more. I want more. Either really go into your spy show stuff because that's really fun, or embrace more of like, hey, look at this. I need less of, hey, look at that guy. He's Deathlock. I know he doesn't look like Deathlock, but I'm telling you, he's Deathlock. Like, embrace more of the get Hercules
the
in
weird?
there. I don't know, more of the
well, that's the thing.
stuff.
It's like this show should be the weirdest show we watch. It shouldn't be Legends of Tomorrow because ultimately, like, we have just 8 characters.
Yeah.
Like this show should be kooky and weird and campy as fuck because it wants to be.
Yeah.
Okay, Shayna X at Shy Shigard something. It looked like Hive was in Honey. Get it? Because Hive, and he has a hive mind, so that's why he keeps saying we.
When he gets up and his little like hair thing goes down, it reminded me how stupid it is that these characters put like the fact that Cap in that meeting in Civil War is hair is gelled out. It's like no way that guy from the 40s is doing that shit. No way that like crazy ass Ward is like, I'm gonna make my hair.
Well, I mean, Tony
nice
Stark's got a big budget for the cosmetologist.
Yeah.
It's called an esthetician.
Yeah. Like, I get it. They're supposed to look good.
Come on, Cap.
Whatever.
Yeah. What would you give this? Any other big points in the episode before we give a number rating? Move on to Daredevil.
I like it when the show decides to be a spy show.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite episode, but it was good.
And this was a good. I feel like this is a sweet spot for the show because you have the spy stuff, but you also have somebody like Absorbing Man running around who's interesting visually. That's why I want more people like that because he's interesting visually. He provides an interesting dynamic. He provides an unpredictability to everything.
Mm-hmm.
The little piece that his cells cure Inhumans.
Very interesting
idea,
and also some fun action sequences when Hunter and Mockingbird and Bobby are taking out those guys. The fact that Hunter smuggled in weapons, that was fun. It was a very fun episode.
Was Absorbing Man able to think fast enough to turn a bullet, or was that turn a bullet into his skin, like to adapt his skin to that, or was that a baton thrown at him that he like? Remember, he was like rubber. Then they threw something.
Oh no,
at him.
she hit him on the head with a pipe.
And he adapted to the pipe, and then
that was not of his own accord. He didn't want to do that.
Okay, that was cool.
That's a cool power. All right, so people are saying 5, 7.5, 8.5, 6.3, 8.5.
I would really like to see. Sam just said that was a cool power. I'd really like. Absorbing Man is traditionally a Thor villain. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see him at the beginning of Thor because he can grab the hammer and take on the properties of the hammer. That'd be a cool like throwaway villain at the beginning of a Thor movie. Mm-hmm. Whatever.
It could be cool. You guys, number ratings?
I give it an 8.9. It's real good. Yeah.
I'd give it a 9. I thought this was a solid episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'd give it an 8, and that's what I would give like a solid episode. It wasn't a special episode for me or anything, but it was very enjoyable. I didn't really have any problems with it. It just, other than Talbot, all the stuff with Talbot and Coulson at the fucking thing was boring.
I thought he was so close to being off the show, but no, he's there to stay.
Yep.
He's not going anywhere. Promise you, he's not going anywhere.
Please change his hair.
This episode sold me on Talbot a little bit more. I'm not as against Talbot.
Make him wear a hat,
even though he's no Rosalind. He can't be Rosalind.
No.
They're like, shit, we should have killed Talbot.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
and then Coulson, for some reason, is inexplicably super angry about it.
I would love that.
I didn't like him, but damn it, he was doing his job. Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
It's time for the big one.
The Daredevils.
I sent you guys a question on Twitter. What are your thoughts on the first episode of Season 2 of Daredevil? We also did a poll with loved it.
We did?
Hated it. Meh. And then I think JD threw a joke one in there of what's Twitter. So I'll go ahead and see what you clicked on.
And what's Twitter won by a whopping 20%.
Polls, man.
Polls
on Twitter. Can anybody
wait, so what was the final tally?
I'm definitely going to be doing some polls tomorrow when we're doing our live
we're definitely going to do some wonderful
we got some polls.
Oh, we got polls.
Yeah.
Oh, these boys got some polls.
You think we don't got polls?
Let me look up. It says SourceFedNERD.
Oh, we're looking at it. Let's go ahead and kick it off. DJ, what you think?
This episode was very meh for the most part.
I'm on board with that. I'm on board with a meh.
Until the end. The end was very good. The rest of the episode was okay.
I really liked it. The only thing that sucked for me was the opening should have been cool, but it was like YouTuber level clunky.
It was the pacing of it reminded me a lot of I again recently rewatched Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. And it was like the montage where he was taking people out, except now we're near as energetic or fun or as well crafted.
It was weird when he pulled the villain or whatever away from the cop. He pulled him into
an alley
that wasn't there or was, and then threw him back, and then I don't know.
It was very. Also the button on that was very. Well, the button was him on the top of the thing, and that was kind of weird too. But when he goes in the church and the guy's got the gun on the girl, and he's like, "Oh shit!" and Daredevil knocks the lights out, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" and then he just stands there and rushes him anywhere perfectly. You could see him perfectly.
Yeah.
So why did you take? This is one of those moments where it's like, "Oh, you're blind." Or, I guess you didn't know that the light behind you. You can still see you.
Yeah. So here's the results of the poll, and I had it absolutely right. This is why you never give a joke answer.
JD.
The bottom was not great with 3%, meh with 8%, loved it has 37%, and what's Twitter won with a whopping 52%. On Twitter.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Langley M. Neely, he says YouTuber level clunky. I love it. But it's the truth. It looked like a fan film.
Although not as good as some of the ones that we've seen.
Right.
Oh, actually, I have a fun suggestion from Twitter. Ryan at Ryan Does Art. Please tell me you're watching the Daredevil Season 2 fight scenes with audio description on. That's a good suggestion.
Ooh, I do that.
You do?
I always have
it's
subtitles
so
on.
funny. Netflix must have... There must be a guy in there's like, hold on. I got an idea.
Yeah.
Because that one, the single take fight scene, the descriptor on that for the hearing or for the seeing impaired, I guess, was really great.
Yeah.
Like he was into it. Like he was selling it. So I would be interested to see how they do these
We
fights.
should do that as like a special bonus, like at the end of the marathon tomorrow.
Watch every fight scene.
No. We'll pick one, or we'll have the audience pick one, and we'll watch it with the audio description on.
But man, you liked the episode.
I did like the episode because so I put out a video yesterday. I put it out late on my channel, youtube.com/Matt Lieberman, where I talked about all the things that I wanted to see season 2 do, because season 1 was very hit and miss for me.
I want to talk a little bit about that when we're done with the episode.
So for me, one of the biggest things is that the character relationships last year never really felt fleshed out, and I didn't really come to love these characters, and I felt like they took great steps forward with how they portrayed our main trio of Matt, Karen, and Foggy. They felt closer to me. I loved Matt and Foggy's interaction just on the street at the top of the episode. It felt more natural and friendly than anything in season 1. It's just they took such great steps forward in shaping these people and making them feel like people that I cared about, and having the first season actually affect them, especially Karen Page and what she's done, and carrying that secret, having that affect her, worked really well for me and made it more entertaining than usual.
You know what? I do agree with that. I like that, and I like that you saw a little bit about how the law office works, and these people giving them gifts instead of money, so they're not able to pay their bills.
They set that up last season too. It was really cute.
I like that dynamic. It sets up an interesting something they're going to have to deal with as the season goes on. And again, I hope that somehow they're tied into Kingpin's trial.
Because it's still like they mentioned him, which is nice. And I can't really tell how much time has gone by, but Daredevil is known, right? But he was known at the end of last season,
right? I think what I'd like to see from the show that we will not get, but I think would make an incredible Daredevil show, is what we're getting with the kind of the crime stuff and Daredevil in the dark, kind of like the way it was last season, great action sequences, paired with an American Crime Story level legal drama, which I think you could get with the trial of Kingpin. I think that would make Daredevil really stand out from the herd.
But here's my question, DJ, because you've brought up the trial of Kingpin a lot, and I do love Kingpin as a character. It's obvious, like they exposed him, right? It's already obvious that he did the thing. There's no drama behind like the question of did he do it or did he not do it.
There's none of that drama in American Crime Story.
There was for the first couple of episodes.
Not for me. The drama has always been for me is how did this guy get off?
Well, you know the end of that. You know that he gets off. We don't know that Wilson Fisk gets off.
So then you have the added layer of you don't know how it's going to play out. But the threat of Wilson Fisk, because he is a comic book supervillain, they always get off somehow.
Well, there has to be like a hard twist in terms of the evidence that makes it compelling.
Or if it happens.
Yeah, again, I don't think it will. I think this show is very much banking itself off of the crime fighting street level stuff, but it's like Matt is also a lawyer. I'd really like to see them take advantage of that
because they didn't really have. They had it maybe first 2 episodes.
It was like episode 4 was there were 3 where they were defending that one guy,
and that was about it.
Yeah.
Really quick, I wanted to come up with. I have a point for this episode, but I also have. A fun tweet to read. But Foggy, man, I think I got used to him. Kind of like when you get used to a warm pool or something, and like you have to like dip your toe in. And you're like, okay, this is what it is. It's a little uncomfortable, but I can deal with it. That's what Foggy was like for me. I know a lot of people love him, and I think I did at the end of the last season. Yeah. I have lost that callus
already.
I do. I do not. Like, it's something about his line delivery. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, I don't buy it. You are saying lines right now, and you're not selling me right now.
Do not love Foggy, but I've always been pro Foggy. Foggy to me is a needed aspect of this show because he provides fun, and for me, he is fun. He's not annoying.
Yeah, he is trying to be fun in my eyes, and like he is fun at points, just not throughout. But then there's a tweet here from Colt Badeau, the Hellbiker gang was also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1.
Dogs of Hell?
I think so.
Oh.
They were the biker gang that...
Right, in the Thor crossover episode with, what's her name, who made everybody fall in love with her?
All the boys.
Yeah, all the boys.
All the boys, don't remember.
That one, not the stick one.
Not the stick one.
The stick one, the second one. Yeah, the second one with Jamie Alexander.
The guy from Mr. Bean? Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah, something that didn't work for me, though, that the fucking Irish gangster scene was so like, listen, guys, we're gangsters on a TV show, and we're going to talk about being gangsters. And it's like, is this happening?
And this even like we got a mole here. Yeah. Like, all right.
This felt like something out of Arrow, but Arrow has the mechanism.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's part of the Arrow universe. Daredevil, like we were talking about a little bit, Daredevil's trying to be like a prestige series. You know what I mean? And it's one of those, that shit's not gonna, you compare yourself to The Wire, that shit's not gonna fly.
Right. Wait, so who was the gangster kid who they kept talking about make your dad proud? They kept cutting back to him with him nodding.
They were just trying to build up whatever scene was there.
Yeah,
what comic book dad? What dad?
I don't know.
What dad?
I don't know. I also didn't like
Kingpin?
Something didn't quite work for me because that was the first time we saw Punisher. Like, we didn't see Punisher, but we saw his actions.
Right.
And it felt very, bullets start flying through and they start shooting. I think for me would have been more effective. And they might be building an arc here. We'll probably talk about it a little bit in a minute. But what do you guys think if that guy's getting ready to bash the other guy's head in and a bullet goes right through his head? And all the gangsters are like, oh shit. And they start shooting that direction. And they're firing wildly, firing guns. They're shooting. And from the other side, it's just one shot, this guy's down. One shot, this guy's down.
Yeah.
One shot. And it's one of those, you realize these guys are panicking. Whoever's on the other side is
cool,
not.
Collected, yeah.
As opposed to it just felt too messy for that's not the
No, I
Punisher
would agree with
know.
you. Well, that's the thing, is like Phil Abraham, who directed this episode, and he directed the first 2 episodes of last season.
It was different.
It was really messy. And well, here's the thing.
Because those 2 episodes were so cinematic last season, and this one episode was not. It felt like it felt like our CW shows to me.
I think that part of it could be that he had more prep time on those episodes because the first one was like a pilot, so he had plenty of time. And the second episode, other than the hallway fight, is not very cinematic. Other than the hallway fight and him dropping the fire extinguisher.
Oh wait, and the very first fight of the entire show when they're on the port and they're saving those girls from becoming sex slaves.
Yeah, that's the first episode.
That's the first episode. The second episode,
same director.
They're both the same director. But the first episode is a pilot, so you have more time to prep it. The second episode, most of the prep went into that hallway fight because the majority of it is just coverage of dialogue.
Yeah, and it's more in that apartment.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe there just wasn't a ton of prep on the episode. There was no iconic Daredevil moment until the very end.
Yeah, and I don't want to stall too long before we get to the end because the end was dope. But the other difference is that the first 2 episodes last season were written by Drew Goddard.
Yeah,
and this episode was written by the new showrunners.
I mean,
I'm wondering if that writing has something to do with it. Also, as somebody that works here as an editor, editing helps with the pacing a lot. You could shoot a lot of really cool things, and it's not put together at a rhythm that works. I don't know, but that last fight, though,
it was real cool. Actually, really quick right before we move on, that scene with the mobsters happened in Flash with that gas villain.
It did.
That exact scene
and it was corny and bad in that.
Yeah, but we moved past it because they had a cool villain that I didn't know was coming. If Punisher hadn't been revealed with this season, it would have actually been really cool. Because later you're like, what the fuck?
Oh, Punisher? That was Punisher? Oh,
yeah. And also, guys, thank you so much for posting spoilers in the chat. I'm going to ask you to please knock it off.
Yeah, we have not watched it yet.
And also, most of everyone on the planet has not watched it yet.
When it's 6 months from now and Punisher's been out for 6 months, say whatever the hell you want. But we haven't. Most people have not watched it yet. Calm down. Play nice with the other kids on the playground.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
And guess what? Those people are assholes.
Yeah, so don't be one here or on Twitter or anywhere.
For me, when the episode really clicked into place was when it was not necessarily this scene, but when he's in the meat locker and that guy's like, he's one man, and then the shot of Punisher's feet and the determination that he's moving with. And then
he's
got the
a psychotic force of nature.
He's got the gun in the hospital, which at first was like, why isn't anybody? And then everybody freaked out. And oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And he starts shooting randomly.
He is immediately established as a very serious
How
threat.
cool do you think John Bernthal felt after he disarmed that cop and then
He just
with
threw
the gun?
in the
And
trash
he
can.
doesn't
And he
just throw
made
the
it.
gun away.
Yeah.
He takes out the clip and then he takes off the main like shaft part of the top and then like throws the pieces away and keeps the bullets for later. Yeah, he's gonna need bullets. The Punisher needs his many
Punisher
bullets.
needs bullets. But like, and he nails that shot into the trash can.
Like not even looking. It was
Yeah.
so dope.
No one nails the shot into the trash can.
And then
His first and only line in the episode.
I'm
so good.
wondering if the arc, and this may explain why he's shooting so wildly in that one scene. I'm wondering if his arc will be, obviously Daredevil's not going to talk him out of killing,
Right.
But maybe if he becomes less chaotic with it,
Right.
and more directed.
He's like, I'm not. You know what? Daredevil's right. No innocence should die based on my war on crime.
Yeah, because he definitely does not look like he's worried about civilians.
Right.
In that scene.
But I do like how early on, how very early in this season they've set up what will be like the core themes of the episode. And this again goes back to the video I posted on my channel, which is at the end of the first sequence before the title sequence.
Yeah.
After the guy gets caught, you see Daredevil smile.
Yeah.
You see how much he enjoys what he does.
Yeah, which is something they touched on last season too.
And then he has the conversation with the gun dealer where he's like, I'm just going to get out in a month. It's like, I'll see you then.
Yeah.
And
Turk.
so it's like...
That was a good scene.
Right.
Yeah. Where
I
he jumps on the...
broke.
Yeah.
I thought the hands were snapped off.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So the question is, why does Daredevil do what he does? Is what he's doing actually fixing anything or helping anyone? Should someone like Punisher be going in and wiping out crime? And is he doing it for the people or is he doing it for his own enjoyment? Because he gets off on it.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah, it's a big ego trip.
Right.
It really boosts that ego. When he tells the story to Foggy, he's like, you going to go out tonight? He's like, well, I mean, last night this is what happened, or a week ago, or whatever.
Yeah, when he's talking about, the guy that was going to cover his wife.
You were like, I see how important this is, but man, do you kind of sound like a douche right now.
Yeah.
Like, you did something really important. You saved a life. You did something really, really, really meaningful. But, like, the way you're saying it right now is, like, you put yourself on this pedestal up here. Like, I don't really know most superheroes and stories when they talk about themselves like that, unless they're intentionally supposed to talk that way.
Yeah.
So it could be a fun, like, kind of character arc for Daredevil this season.
That was really interesting. But how dope that fight, though.
Oh,
Punisher
the goddamn sniper. Oh, also seeing his eye through the sniper was really cool.
Yeah.
That's not
That was
how
really
that
cool.
works,
The
but,
fight kind of underwhelmed me a little bit.
Really?
Oh, for us,
Yeah.
we were
first
freaking out.
that was the selling point of the episode. Like it suddenly the show came back to life.
That dope. Okay, so a lot of other shows when they do like hand-to-hand combat, most notably like Arrow, it kind of gets like, all right, I like this because you're trying really hard. Legends of Tomorrow, it's better, but with this, that flying kick where he kicks the sniper gun out of his hand and then kicks the Punisher, it looked
He did
legit.
a double kick that looked like really,
Oh no, there were definitely like moments and beats in that fight that really worked for me. But then I was just sort of like, man, Punisher knocks him down really easily.
Yeah.
And I know you're trying to establish Punisher as like
the
a threat,
threat, yeah.
but like, isn't Matt Murdock Daredevil's supposed to be like an incredible fighter.
Yeah.
And it's just sort
this should be his jam. Like
Right.
if this hand-to-hand fighting of the two of them, it should be Daredevil's
That's
jam.
why, like, the final moment of their confrontation, that makes sense to me. I'm like, okay,
Bang.
bang, shoots him in the head.
Did he shoot him in the head? I was wondering,
right?
like,
I think-
Yeah, it's on the poster. He's holding the mask with the smoking bullet
Got a
hole.
hole in it.
He shoots him in the head, and I'm like, yes, that to me is their dynamic. He tries to fight off Daredevil. Daredevil's too good a fighter. Pull a gun, shoot him.
Yeah.
Like that to me, that's Punisher. That Punisher was able to keep up that much of a physical threat fight for that long seems far fetched.
When did he shoot him? I'm sorry, I'm a little blanking. I watched it very early this morning. Did he shoot him with the rifle?
No, he shot him with a pistol.
With a
he
pistol.
had.
Okay, because I'm like,
Sidearm.
not to be a stickler, but if you shot at that close range with a
yeah.
sniper
It-
rifle,
everything would shatter. The
it doesn't-
skull, the helmet, the
there's
whole thing.
nothing that blocks that
Yeah.
except for like 2 feet of concrete.
Yeah. Well, like they were talking about with the guy that had the Kevlar vest on, it went through the vest, through him out the other side of the vest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like most bullets do.
Well, maybe that's how
terrifying.
Gladiator comes back into the game. Is like someone's got to be designing these bullets that are able to go
Maybe
that hard.
would be intense, and that would be a good excuse for him to fight Gladiator again. Mm-hmm. I'm with you, Matt. I want to see. I thought Jessica Jones did such a good job establishing her supporting cast. I felt like the majority of that supporting cast had their own lives. They lived in their own worlds. They weren't just waiting for Jessica Jones to show up and be like, "Oh, cool, I'm doing my thing now." I want to see more of that in Daredevil because you never really got a sense of that in season 1.
Eric Espinosa, you can you're a bad person, by the way.
Yeah, no.
You're a
If
bad
that's
person.
if that's true, if what that person just wrote in the chat is true, you're a dick, man.
I didn't read it, thankfully.
Oh,
Thanks.
you're good. Don't worry.
You're great.
Most people
Then
are
you're in great
responding
shape.
properly.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why some people just are bad people.
You're a bad person. Yeah, I'm excited because everyone has said that this season escalates pretty quick.
Great.
And it doesn't plateau and do whatever happened in season 1.
Yeah,
So-
that's one thing I'm hopeful for, even though I have mixed feelings about this episode. I had mixed feelings about the Jessica Jones first episode, and I ended up loving that show. And Daredevil, we loved the first episode, and by episode 7, it was like...
Well, remember, there's
really slowed down.
There's a lot more after that too
Yeah.
that we had to like kind of muscle through.
Yeah.
It's like eating a tough piece of meat. Like you just
Yeah, you get through it. So I'm
there's
hoping
the
that
end.
this season builds.
Yeah.
And we haven't even touched on the hand. There's a brief mention of the Yakuza.
Right.
So, and hopefully they don't have big gang meetings talking about being a gang and being in what gangs do and all
what
being
if
gang.
every episode,
Was
every
that a
gang,
meeting?
every gang. This was this the
This is the Irish mob.
Irish, and you got the Italian.
Yeah, you got
Got
that.
so many
Everybody.
Yeah,
more.
the Yakuza. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe Russian.
But,
Guys, we need to talk.
Yeah.
As the Italian mob. Listen, everybody is gone.
Yeah.
Now the dogs of hell are also gone.
gone.
We have a long history of being mobsters in this city of mobsters.
that is literally how the dialogue goes in that
Who
scene.
needs a meeting like that?
Yeah.
You step making sure everyone's on board. Like we're still a mob, right? Yeah, we're a mob.
It would go like a normal meeting, except the people in the meeting would probably be a little less educated and a little bit more prone to violence. But it would just be like you talk to be like you actually know each other. Like, hey, you remember what happened to Fisk? Oh yeah, man, that was messed up. Well, listen, it's time for us to step up. That's how people talk.
Yeah.
Not
Anyway,
with like a whole group, whatever.
what
yeah.
did you guys give the episode?
Not. I mean, the ending was really cool, but that doesn't really make up for an entire episode. I'd give it a 7, and that's the kind of on the low end. It's a low 7.
What about you, Matt? You liked the episode more.
Well, that's the thing is like I like the episode, but I would still give it like a 7.5. It was not like a great piece of television. It did have some great moments in it. The way that it ended was maybe the best ending of any episode, except for like Daredevil walking out with the kid in the hallway fight episode.
Good Lord.
I know.
Cool.
Well, supposedly there's like a sequel to it this year, so I'm sure we're going to be floored and we're going to be talking about it. All going to be talking about
Holding
it.
2 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 kids.
Yeah.
He's
He's
got
got
the whole episode. The whole episode's a single take. That's why this episode felt so weak.
Hey man, if they want to do like a fucking Birdman episode and the whole thing is just one take, I'm game.
That'd be real cool.
I'll agree with you guys. I think I'll give it a 7.5.
Yeah.
Right. It's like
7.5 to 8. 7.5.
Yeah.
There's lots of room to grow, but there's a lot of
There's a
promising
lot of
stuff
potential.
right
I'm
out of the gate.
really interested to see more about Punisher.
Because there's so much that's going to happen this season. You have Elektra still coming in from the trailers, so no spoilers. But you got the hand coming in. You got Stick coming back. There's a lot of room for the show. But we're going to be watching all tomorrow, so make sure you guys
Other
come in
things
and
I'd
tune
like
in.
to see. I think I said this before. Kingpin. I want to see Jessica Jones.
You
I want
might
to see
get
Jessica Jones make a cameo.
Yeah, you got Rosario Dawson. That's the best we're going to do. That's the
I
best.
just, hey,
the best.
listen. We're talking about what I hope to see. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
Should I do my poll list real quick?
Do your poll list.
A little poll list. Just
I'm going to do it real quick, kids. I'm going to do it real quick. All right. Over at DC, it's a big month. All the 50. Oh, no.
On Superman.
Batman Superman. Predicted.
I've seen Gods Fall and Men of Steel.
Batman 50 comes out. This is the big finale of the not Endgame. That was the last arc. Super Heavy, the one where Jim Gordon's in the giant robot suit. Shocker, Bruce Wayne's coming back. Who saw that coming in time for Batman v Superman? Also, We Are Robin number 10. They're in the middle of their Joker's arc. Enjoy series like this and Black Canary while you can, because in the new Rebirth relaunch, they are going away. So We Are Robin number 10. Over in the indie world, Klaus number 4, dealing with the secret origin of Santa Claus, written by Grant Morrison.
Cool.
Stray Bullets, Sunshine and Roses number 13. Sunshine and Roses are great, Stray Bullets is a great indie crime comic. I highly recommend it. Over in the Marvel world, Totally Awesome Hulk number 4. And Totally Awesome Hulk is, in fact, totally awesome. I will probably say that every time this is on that list. It's a really great book. And Ultimates number 5. Ultimates number 5 came out of Secret Wars, and apparently it's really a big, epic, big ideas.
Ultimates as in like Ultimate Universe, like Avengers? Ultimates?
Yeah, except now in the main universe, they are the ones that they're basically the new Fantastic Four. They did Galactus is on the team.
Oh, that's
that.
dope.
Yeah, that's you need that as a selling point.
That's real cool.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
those are the books I recommend for next week. Tweet me what you're picking up next week. Why not?
Yeah. All right. Sam, any plugs?
Oh, no, just check me out youtube.com/ search my name on Google. Go ahead and do that. Dublin Ink TV. There you go. Won't let me change the URL to anything. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all the fun stuff at Sam Basher. Super duper easy.
Cool.
You can find me at DJ Chalks Trash on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Please join us tomorrow. Please get your friends. Let's make it a fun...
I'm excited.
Have some fun.
These events are really fun for us. At the very least, I mean, we hope you guys have fun too, but we have a blast. It's a long day.
It's a long day.
We're in the trenches together.
Yeah. We're going to put polls on Twitter that you can decide what we have for lunch.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah. Right?
Pizza.
Yeah, pizza, subs.
I actually don't think that's a bad idea.
Yeah, it could be fun.
See what happens.
So again, the details for tomorrow. Well, first of all, you could go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Matt Lieberman, and you should go watch my Daredevil video and let me know what you want to see in Daredevil season 2. Or if you've already watched it, don't spoil it for people who haven't. For God's sake.
Wait at least a month.
Yeah.
And then you can, in the comments, you can be like.
Yeah, the details for tomorrow. We're starting at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So make sure you know what that is. Go to youtube.com/SourceFedNERD. We're going to be streaming live all day. We're starting with episode 2. So if you haven't watched episode 1 yet, go watch it. Okay? We're going to plow through pretty much through the day. There might be some slight breaks. We'll update the schedule on Twitter as best we can when things change. We're going to take a slight break around episode 5 or 6 for lunch. Which means like the stream will still exist, but we're going to go to like a we'll be back soon kind of deal. And we'll be just rolling right along through the whole day. And, hopefully the audio of the show won't be piping through the live stream. Like
should be.
Like if people just want to watch us watch a show with no context, they can.
Yeah, they can. Yeah. You'll hear. It'll all be
Yeah.
synced up, and we'll do a little sync for you.
But
guys.
it'll be a blast. And if you don't want any spoilers, mute us on Twitter. Also, you want to tune in right at the beginning to find out about the giveaways, and I'll tease it at the top of every episode as we watch it. But in order to enter the giveaway, you need to be following all of us and Maud and SourceFedNERD on Twitter.
There you go.
There you go.
That's how you do it.
All
That's
right.
how you do it. Also, next we're going to do Batman v Superman review. Those normal things we do for movies.
Yeah.
And it'll be super fun. But guys, I'm super pumped for tomorrow. You
It's
guys
gonna be a
better
blast.
tune in. You better tune in.
Tune
But that's it, guys.
All right.
Yay!
Thanks
Casey
for watching.
379
Thanks
said I
for
killed it
watching.
on Screen Junkies TV fights, and I think I did too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Boom.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.